Welcome everyone to Bolts and Nose Podcast, episode 61, coming 62.
62. You blew it.
I had all this going.
Yeah, you had it all in your head, and you blew it like a hurricane.
We're coming to you live from City Acre Brewing.
City Acre Brewing.
What's the connection to City Acre Brewing, Bryce?
You know, our old friend James, the brewmaster. Here, let's get a cheers in before we go too deep into this. What are you sipping on?
I'm working on one called an El Tuve. El Tuve. A simple play on words, a little ode to the Altuve.
Jose.
What number is he? Oh, come on, Bryce.
Number 7?
27.
27, that's right.
27. Yes.
27 is a famous number in the majors. Here, I'm going to drink this real quick. I'm drinking a green space IPA. Good stuff.
Is it good?
Sir. Yeah, it's good.
I like it. This is the first time we've ever been here. Quite impressed. This little place right off of 59. It's, unsuspecting.
Yeah, you would never know. I never knew it was
in
here.
a neighborhood.
It's a cool spot. It's by like Jensen Road. Kind of just south of West Little York. Not West Little York. I think this is East Little York.
Yeah.
Just right off 59 though.
But only 10 minutes from the shop. We're pretty close.
So James is the old brewmaster at Ingenious. He's the brewmaster here.
Our friend, he had a long beard before. You probably remember him from that. Although that's
super
been
obnoxious, James.
Chopped off now. No more.
It's too hot.
Yeah.
She's been bit by chihuahuas over here. They're running around the neighborhood.
It's not quite the Ingenious brewery as far as size, but from what I hear, it's quite potent.
And I think it's got some character to it.
I love it. Yeah. It's got some green space outside, some great sitting areas.
Yep. Cool overhang. What do you call that? A lean-to? Is that a lean-to?
I would call it a lean-to.
A lean-to, yeah. A nice new lean-to. Yeah. They got some cool lights, TVs. They got a full-blown kitchen.
Love it.
They got some big girthy mozzarella sticks here. That's what James was telling me. I don't know. I haven't tried them yet.
He loves the girthy mozzarella
sticks. He did
sticks.
say they're uncomfortable to eat because they're so girthy. So
you can't just eat them one bite. You got multiple bites.
Yeah, it's multiple. You got to kind of nibble on it first. Okay. You got to prepare the cheese stick.
Jesus, it never ends.
We're just speaking about your girthy cheese sticks.
We're giving a shout out to your brewery.
And there's the descriptions of them.
Oh, look at that. Nice.
Read that shit.
So they got food here. They used to have food trucks and things at the old place. But we got all kind
They have a full-blown kitchen.
Cool treats here. Urban Cowboy and City Acres Burger. Sounds good.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool spot. So, we just wanted to get out of the office, do a little field trip. Thought we'd reach out to James. He said, come on by. A little different scenery, a little different vibe.
Yeah. I love it. We should do this more often.
We really should.
And then Casey's Brewery as well. Maybe we should do that next week.
I think so.
Yeah.
Where's he at?
Back Pew, I think is what it's called. Back Pew. It's up in Porter, New Caney, Kingwood, that area.
You know what that reminds me of is that when they do that thing on the Rod Ryan show and they say, what do you think a gun sounds like?
Yeah.
And the girls come in, they're like, pew, pew.
Right.
What do you think? Like, if you were to shoot a gun right now, what kind of noise would you make?
You can't. I don't think you could make any noise that you couldn't solicit a laugh from. So.
But that's the whole point. Yeah. Like, it's all fun.
I mean, it's more of a cannon. But I guess it depends if you got like a suppressor on it.
You do the big boom. That's your.
Yeah.
Oh, so you're like. Yeah. That's more like a bomb.
But that's how. You
gotta go
small caliber weapon. But that would be more of a as well.
Yeah. Not the pew pew pew.
Yeah. No, I'd never do that.
No way.
Yeah. You would do that though.
Probably, I do.
Right?
I mean,
I could see that.
I sit in my room practicing my pew pews.
So we're watching the Olympics on the TV. Did you catch that fight last night?
Okay, so you mentioned this earlier. I don't think it was last night. I don't think that was live because I read an article about it.
Yes.
I read an article about it yesterday.
Okay, so maybe it's the night before.
So I think the timing
our night, their day.
Jake Paul and Mike Tyson both want to fight that person.
I heard that. Jake Paul did give a shout out to her saying, hey, he would give her a platform to come to a fight. Jake Paul.
No, but you said her? Now you're confusing me.
The one that actually lost.
Yes. She said that was the hardest she's ever been hit in her life.
Yeah, she got hit twice, and then after 46 seconds, she said, hey, I can't do this.
I don't blame her.
Knowing that it was a biological male with a Y chromosome.
There was Ys in that dude or thing's body.
Gene pool.
Yes. Ys floating around.
Whole controversial subject, but I feel bad for the girl who trained her whole life to get to that point, and then
got rolled. You know, I just think about that. Like, if that was your daughter,
yeah,
you know,
terrible.
like if that was Allie training her butt off and finally gets the ultimate goal, goes to the Olympics, and then gets rolled up by.
And she was from Italy, I believe, too, right? She was from Italy.
I think she was Italian, and the other was Algerian.
Yeah.
I think.
Can you?
Algiers.
I mean, you think that is that whole, you know, phenomenon is specific to the U.S.?
Oh no! I mean, because we live here, but it's everywhere.
I'm kind of surprised to see that.
It's everywhere.
Yeah.
I mean,
We should probably move on.
You think?
Yeah, this is going down the wrong way. You're going to get me upset. So
No, let's not. So let's talk about our nuts.
let's talk about nuts, Bryce.
We actually got a couple nuts. Where'd that big nut go?
This is a great little segue.
You're using the nut. You're using the nut to hold up the phone.
I will, and
So-
we'll switch it out. We'll talk about that nut, and then we'll switch it out and use the other nut.
Normally,
I'm using it as a phone prop right
we
now.
have a camera, so it might be a little different vibe here. Our camera's dead, so we're using the iPhone, a trusty iPhone. Shout out to Apple,
works
man.
okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
shout out to Apple.
Yeah, Apple's got it going on.
Dude, it's
this
crazy
is probably
what you're
4K. This is probably as good or better than the camera.
The sound on the other one is really good because of
Yeah, it's
that.
got a little mic
You got the boom mic.
with a little fuzzy cover
furry.
on the top of it.
It's
It
a
kind of
furry.
cuts down on the S's and the P's.
And surround noise. It directs it to you.
Yeah,
Right?
it does. It's a directional mic. Yes.
We never did measure this nut, and I did not look at
We're
the
going to call it a
recorder.
1 inch, or we're going to call it 7/8 is what we're going to do.
7/8.
Fine thread
I think
7/8.
it's 7/8.
Yep.
So my friend, 12-point internal nut. 7/8 fine. What's 7/8 fine? Off the top of your head.
14.
14. That's what I was
Look
going
at
to say.
that.
I don't know if that's true.
It's
Is that
right.
real?
That's right. Yeah.
7/8
That's right.
14.
Yeah.
7/8 14.
I'm sure
12
one of our 3 listeners will correct us if we're wrong.
Look at this thing, though, man.
That's a
all
lot
the-
of geometry. That was all made from solid round bar.
It's like it's a piece of art right there.
It
You know
is,
what I'm saying?
yeah.
I mean, it looks like if you put some color on that thing, it looks like a sun.
Yeah.
Doesn't it kind of look like a sun?
It's beautiful.
It looks like a tattoo my wife once had.
If I'm not mistaken, I think we modified another nut to make this, which is why the wall is so thin. Am I right on that?
No, that's sometimes we do that because this one is 7/18, so we made this one round bar.
Okay.
But that's a good looking part, man. 88 pieces. This
It
was
is-
an
it
extra.
is beautiful. What's
And then-
what's the tensile strength on that, Bryce?
718 B637 tensile strength is going to be a 180 min.
That's strong.
So 150 min yield, 180 min
Strong.
tensile.
What would you estimate the hardness on that is?
38 to 44. So
Oh,
that's a 41 HRC.
did you just lick your nut on live TV?
12-point nut.
Whoa.
I only lick Incano.
Okay.
Nothing lower than Incano.
All right, let's move on to the next one.
Lots of nickel. You're so impatient today.
Now we're gonna fly through this thing.
Hey,
we
so-
got to get back to the shop.
We
gotta do
showed
some work.
this part last week. So this is that little spray nozzle.
But we did not show it with the holes
With
that
the
are drilled
holes.
in there. We talked about the holes that were going to be drilled, but
Yep.
now we got the finished part.
So you can see the holes in there. So it's just a kind of cool finished part. They go all the way through. You can kind of see the light at the end of the tunnel there.
Isn't that interesting? I mean, where you got this, you can use that hex drive to tighten this onto whatever the sprayer is, I guess. And then you've got the holes that, as the fluid is pressurized in that cavity, sprays out on these 3, and then you've got nozzles that come out. And
Look at that
I don't know what
spray.
the angle is, but it's probably, I don't know, 40-degree angle or
It's
something.
30 degrees.
Yeah.
I remember that from the
What would you use that for? It's got to be some type of cleaning device. Maybe they have these on something that's rotating and it's spraying in all different directions, because that's very specific. You know, you've got a wide spray there. So this thing has to be moving around, cleaning something.
So when I first talked to these guys, they mentioned they do a lot of special parts for the end of welders. There's no way, like I'm just trying to think of how you could use that on a welding machine.
Unless there's some type of inert gas that goes through there, it's like
Maybe,
a
yeah.
shielding gas or
Yeah,
something,
that might
and
be.
it's not a liquid. You know, maybe.
That might be, you might be right there. You might be on
Maybe.
something.
And then it floods the area with inert gas, like argon or whatever.
Inert. It's a fun
Inert.
word. Inert.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I like it.
Spell inert.
INERT. I'm going to switch this little nut real quick.
Okay.
Our little
It's
wheel.
a nut flopper.
Maybe I'll cut that out. Maybe I won't. Who knows?
I don't think you
We'll
should.
see. I don't think I will.
I think it's
People
you know,
like seeing a close up of my little hand.
your
there.
hand.
They could probably tell a lot from the lines in my hand about me.
You think that's true?
You know, according to my daughter, it is. She's into, you know, a little astrology here and there, and she studies that. So she would probably tell you that there's some truth to it. I'm sure she would know the story, whether it's true or not. She would know what long lines mean and multiple lines and intersections and all that.
How do you think your hand lines have anything to do with your life, though?
You know,
That's just a confusing thing.
There's weirder things out there, Bryce, that coincide with your...
You're definitely right about
It's a
that.
palm reader is what it's called. How do you think those people make a living?
I mean, I think it's the same way anyone makes a living. You have a good story to tell, and you know.
And maybe it's a grifter or a hoax, you know, that does it. But maybe not.
You put all that stuff, like all that wraps over your head and wear these garbs, and you know,
Yeah.
it's like oobity goobity.
I don't know. I'm not an expert.
Yes, you are. Check this out. This is a set screw, a slotted set
A
screw,
long set screw,
a long
cone point, flathead drive, a slotted flathead drive.
What do you think the size of that thing is?
I'm going to call that 7/16.
I didn't check this either. I think it's 3/8.
It might be 3/8.
3/8 16.
Yep.
B16 material, so that's the funky part about this.
Yeah.
So it's not just an alloy steel, it's got some vanadium for some temperature.
I knew. Whenever you say B16 now,
I say
you
vanadium.
always say vanadium. I
Just-
knew it.
Vanadium's another fun word to say,
It is a great word.
right? Vanadium. So cool part.
I love it.
I don't remember the grade.
It's going to be
I knew I was
C630.
No, it's
C630.
I think it's 863. I think it's C863.
Whoa.
This is a brass 2-inch nut. Finished pattern.
It's beautiful.
It is a really good looking nut.
Yeah.
We're making 12 pieces. We just got the bar in yesterday. I actually took this. We might be in trouble. We got to get this out today.
Oh, we got to get it
I didn't realize
back
that.
to the shop.
But yes.
Surely they made an extra one, right?
I hope so. 12 pieces on a rush, flying off the machines and out the door. Just pretty. I mean, there's something about red metal. You know, that's what they call this. All the
Red
brass and coppers, right?
Yes.
They call it red metal.
Yeah. Not red iron, which is different.
Red iron is different,
Yeah.
but red metals. You
Right.
would think they would call it like yellow metals. Wouldn't that make more sense?
I think the alloying is what makes it yellow, but the copper pigment that goes in it is more red,
So copper.
and the majority of it is copper. So
Where do
it's
you
more
think
of a
they
red.
get? Where do you think they get most of the copper from?
There's mines all over for copper. I mean, in the mountains.
The mountain. Which mountains? Do all
Every
mountains have
mountain,
them?
yes.
Really? Every
yeah.
mountain
I
has
think
copper.
some have higher concentrations than others, but that's where you typically mine because it's easier to mine than digging straight into the ground. You go into the side of a mountain,
Side of
you can
the
get to
mountain,
the minerals a lot faster.
So Copper State is Arizona, right?
Arizona, lots of copper in
Lots of
Arizona.
copper.
Yep. A lot of mountains there too, right?
There is a lot of mountains,
Yeah.
but it's not the most mountainous area. It's probably easier because the mountains
In
usually have
northern
flat
Arizona,
and then
northern
a mountain.
Arizona, you're getting close to the Rocky Mountains there. It's
Yeah.
it's very mountainous there.
Yep,
Mountainous.
mountainous.
Hey,
Words today.
let's talk about Belleville washers. How about that? Or spring washers.
Spring washers.
So I know we talk about parts, but let's talk about a technical segment. I think Belleville washers. What are they used for, Bryce?
They're used for basically like not backing off of a nut, right? I mean, they're used
That's
to
one of the uses. Yes.
because it's a spring washer, so you tighten it down and it keeps that nut in tension.
It's a positive load that creates some tension on the stud to keep the nut from backing off. But also, they design them with a specific height so that you can get them in different load configurations,
Correct.
right? So 30, 60, 90,
45,
KSI.
and 60. Yeah.
So you can use them as a load measuring device as well. So if they deflect 95%, which is what they're designed to deflect. So based on the initial height down to the flat height, if you can get that to deflect, the way they're designed is you get it to deflect 95% and you're at the right load. So it's also a load monitoring device. If you were to walk by a joint that has Belleville washers and the washer is not fully deflected, you know that the load is not at the target load.
I don't think I knew that.
That's 100% true, bro.
That's, and I mean,
You didn't know that?
I don't think I knew
So
that.
there's a couple of uses for it. One is for load retention. Another one is for a load monitoring device. I'm sure there are people that will argue about the effectiveness of that, and there's no doubt they have a case to make. But I'm just telling you the way they're designed.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Because if you get a 30 KSI washer, let's say,
So that's easier to...
and you deflected 95% from the unloaded height to the loaded height, you'll be at the target load. But if you took a 60 KSI washer,
Right.
did the same deflection, it's going to be at that load. Because think about it, if you only
Yeah,
go
that makes
from
sense.
the unloaded height to the loaded height and you're at half of what that load is, you're not going to be at the load that's it's designed for.
It makes sense.
Yeah,
I like it.
yeah.
We got a call out on Belleville's last night.
We did?
We did. Inch and an 8.
Inch and an 8? Did we have it in stock?
We had it in stock. I think we had 199 pieces in stock.
Yeah, there's not too many people that stock those here in the Gulf Coast. And we are proud to say we are a stockist of those parts.
A stocking distributor of Belleville washers.
Yeah.
Spring washers, right?
Spring-loaded washers, yeah. Conical washers,
Conical.
as they're often referred to.
On the shelf, ready to move
Yeah.
all day long.
Not to be confused with spherical washers, but conical washers.
Spherical washers are fun though, man.
They are.
Probably my favorite washers.
I agree. That takes care of what? What's the biggest thing that solves, Bryce? A conical, a spherical
A
washer.
spherical washer is for like rotated flanges.
Yes, misalignment.
Right? Misalignment, yeah. So it just gives it a little forgiveness.
It does. It keeps that loading plane level. So regardless of what's happening with your flange, those washer sets will compensate for that and overcome that.
You're asking me some like complicated
But
questions.
you're answering
today.
all of them. You got it.
You're making me so
You got it.
nervous.
You're
like
an expert.
My palms are sweaty. My knees are weak.
Usually after it's a few beers and then it gets fun, what your answers are.
Yeah, this is only the first beer. So
Yeah. So, okay, let's wrap this up.
wrap it up. It's like Christmas.
City Acre Brewing, come check it out.
Come check it out. Ask for James. Got
Ask
some
for
good beer
James.
here.
Yep, try the El Tuve.
The Green Space IPA, a little citrusy.
You'll like the El Tuve. I think you could sit here and drink 4 or 5 of these and you'd be perfectly fine.
Yeah.
It's not real strong. Tastes great. Cold. They got it going on here. They got some great food. It looks
Tastes
like.
great. Less filling.
That's Bud Light.
Was it Bud Light?
It was,
I think that was Miller Lite. I don't remember. But it did stick in my head, so good job to those marketing guys.
It's the only thing that's stuck in your head.
Bolts and Hose episode number 62.
All right. We'll see you next week. Have a great weekend.
Yep. Thanks for watching, everybody.
Cheers.
Like, share, comment. Adios. Have a good weekend.